The objective of this activity is to multiply decimals by paper folding method. Let's understand the concept of multiplication of decimals first. Multiplication of decimals is more like multiplication of whole numbers. It's just about putting the decimal at the right position. Suppose you have one number as 12 which doesn't contain a decimal and the other number is 2.5 and we need to multiply them. Irrespective of where the decimal is, if you consider the problem as 12 times 25, your answer for this is going to be 300. Now you have to count how many digits are there after decimal in both the numbers. Here you have one digit after decimal, but in 12 you don't have any decimal at all. So there's only one digit after decimal. So what do you do with 300? You put a decimal one digit from the right hand side. So the 300 becomes 30.0 and 0.0 has no meaning. So the answer for the question will be 30. Likewise, if the first number is a decimal in itself like 0.75 and the second number is also decimal, let's take an easy example to understand the concepts. You have say 2.2. Now if you don't consider the decimals, this 0.75 is actually 75 and 2.2 is actually 22. Just multiply 75 and 22 using the traditional approach, which is 5 times 2 is 10, so 0, 1 carry. 7 times 2 is 14, so 115. And then you put a cross and then 150 again and add vertically, you get the desired product 1650. So the product of these two numbers is 1650. So I told you in the previous example, you have to count the total number of digits after decimal. So here we have 2 digits after decimal, and here you have 1 digit after decimal. So in all, you have 3 digits after decimal, and therefore you have to put a decimal 3 digits from the right hand side, which gives you 1.65 as the product. The material required to perform this activity are 2 square grid papers, geometry box, and sketch pens, and Fevicol for pasting work. Let's perform this activity now.
To perform this activity of multiplication of decimals 0.5 and 0.8, I have taken a 10 by 10 grid. As you can see, I have drawn it on a piece of paper and then taken the cutout. So the first fraction equivalent or decimal is 0.5, which is 5 upon 10, right? I want to convert this 10 into 100. So I'll multiply the numerator and denominator by 10. That gives us 50 upon 100. So I need to find out a way to get to 50 upon 100. This is total 100. So I'll fold it like this into half. So you can see this is exactly 50 small squares on one side and 50 on the other. So 1/2 of this will represent 0.5. So I'll put dots on this so that I can find out exactly where 0.5 lies. I've done it already here. You can see I put dots on 50%, that is 0.5 of the sheet. So this dotted portion represents the first decimal 0.5. Now I need 0.8. So where is 0.8? 0.8 is 8 upon 10, which is, if you multiply it by 10 on the numerator and denominator, so you get 80 upon 100. So I need to shade 80 now. So for shading 80, what will I do? I will fold it like this. See, these are 20 and on the other side they are 80. Now I have to shade these 80. So when I shade the 80 on this, I know that I have to leave the last two rows. So I'll shade them and you will obtain a figure like this. You can see I have used circles for that 80 upon 100 part. Now what happens here is you just have to count where does the portion which contains both dots and circles lie. And you can observe closely, here is the portion which contains both the two shades, that is dots and the circles. So how many small squares contain both shapes? There are 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 and 5. So how many? 40 such small squares, and therefore 40 out of 100 should be the product of 0.5 and 0.8. And what is 40 upon 100? It is 0.40 or simply 0.4, and that gives us the product of 0.5 and 0.8, which completes our activity on multiplication of decimals.